So Greg, why don't you tell the viewers a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I'd just like to say thank you, Senator Lofton, for partnering with me on this interview, and thanks Community Access Media for giving me the opportunity to come in and speak today. But first, a little bit about me. I'm not from Erie. My hometown is really St. Louis, Missouri. That's where I spent my teenage years and also my young adult life. That being said, as I think back, I've lived in 7 different states. I've also, spent time with business in China and also in Europe, and I think, the cool thing about that is that gives you, a really good perspective on what's going on in Erie and also, what's going on, outside of Erie. That brings to the question: what brought my wife and I to Erie? In 2013, I had a great opportunity to work for a company called Treehouse Foods. In that company, I actually had, I've met my now business partner in that company, and we had a fantastic run. Joined the business in 2013, resigned in 2017. In that time period, we took about a $400 million business to a $1.5 billion business when I resigned, through acquisitions, integrations, and continuous operational improvement. So it was a good run. In addition to that, while we were going through that process, my wife and I were relatively productive. So we went from 0 kids to now we have 3 kids, 6, 4, and 2. And we're happy residents living in the city of Erie. Love Erie. From the day we moved here, we felt like it really had great potential. Fast forwarding to what I'm doing now, like I said, I resigned from Treehouse in 2017 and did that to join my business partner from Treehouse, and really taking the initial steps with the objective of making Erie a culinary destination. With that being said, we founded a company called Red Letter Hospitality in 2017, and Red Letter Hospitality is the company I'm affiliated with and also manages the business of which I have ownership in, which is the Cork 1794, Molly Brannigan's, and the Skunk and Goat Tavern. In addition to those businesses, I'm also involved with a supply, distribution, and service business, as well as a couple real estate companies, one in Erie, Pennsylvania, and the other one in St. Louis, Missouri. So, as I think you can tell, I love being an entrepreneur. When I'm not entrepreneuring, I'm trying to do the best I can to be a phenomenal husband and a great father, and really trying to enjoy the journey of getting to raise my children.
Well, I have to tell you, Greg, that's a pretty impressive background, and I think the city of Erie would be very lucky, actually, to have you on council. So with such a few number of seats that are up on city council, why don't you give us, just a little bit of what you intend to do differently maybe than the council members that we have now?
Yeah, I think, key thing, if you look at, I think the critical thing about city council is looking probably at what I would consider the primary responsibility of city council. And really, I see city council as essentially, serving as a board of director for the mayor and the city government. And I think the key thing that we do is we have to understand and review a budget on an annual basis, and a lot of things can stem from that. So, what I bring to city council, and there's 3 things. One, I think I have a relatively robust business background. I'm relatively well steeped from a finance standpoint. And also, there's the people component, which, you can talk about numbers and operations of business all you want, but really, at the end of the day, I don't care if it's government or business, everything comes back to people and people working well together. So what I think I bring that's unique to city council is, one, my business perspective. We've talked a little bit about my entrepreneurial experience. However, prior to moving to Erie, I worked for, I spent over a decade living out of a suitcase on the road, working for companies like Anheuser-Busch, Nestle, and then, like I mentioned, Treehouse Foods. So the cool thing about that was, in those travels, I got to see tons of different operations, lots of different business entities, and got to see how business was done in different parts of the country and different places of the world. So I think that's one perspective that I bring to the table. Some of the positions that I held were, plant controller, plant manager, group controller, division controller, and other executive roles in partnering with folks. From a financial standpoint, I'm steeped on understanding the operational components of the business. Early in my career, my first plant manager said, Greg, it's easy to analyze numbers and do analysis, but folks that add value to companies are folks that can take the numbers and correlate those back to the operational facets of the business. So at the end of the day, you know what levers to pull and how to press the business forward. And so that's really what I focus on, and I think that's very critical for what I can bring to City Council, is understanding the numbers and also tying back into the operational components of the business. Lastly is the people aspect. I make decisions every day that impact hundreds to thousands of lives, whether it be direct employees and/or suppliers and vendors with the business. So I bring some very unique, I think, perspective to City Council.
You know, Greg, that's a pretty extensive skill set that you would be bringing to City Council. And I have to ask you though, if you basically had a magic wand, what would be your number one goal that you'd like to get done for the City of Erie?
Yeah, I think simply put is ultimately find a way to get lower property taxes in the City of Erie. And that's the ultimate goal. What has to be done to deliver that is, number one, fiscal responsibility. And that's having someone in that understands budgets, but more importantly has the ability to peel the onion back and understands the different facets and levers that are required to really build, drive a budget, and create change from a budget standpoint. Secondly is having someone that is pro-business, pro-economy, and pro-growth. I mean, at the end of the day, from a business perspective and from an outsider's perspective, it feels like at times, Erie is really trying to weather through probably 40 plus years of government mismanagement. And I think it's really been detrimental and challenging to a lot of folks with lives in Eries. I mean, as a result, I think we see many lives that are stagnant at best. Population continues to decline. We have challenging business environment. Schools require improvement. Crime is up. Real estate values lag behind, and taxes just continue to go up. And I think the point with taxes continue to go up is this. Again, from different perspectives, from different states, the last thing in the world that you ever hear is the idea of raising taxes. And it seems like in Erie, the folks in Erie, the taxes have been raised so much and so often that we're almost desensitized to that. And I think that at the end of the day, we need to hold ourselves and our government accountable to finding more creative ways to drive growth, rather than just creating more and more programs and putting more government in people's lives that ultimately result in the citizens of Erie being stuck with the tax bill.
Greg, you bring up a valuable point there about the taxes within the City of Erie. I've lived in this region my entire life, and I live out in Mel Creek, and I can tell you that my taxes are lower than the City of Erie, and it's driving people out of the city. So the fact that you're willing to be fiscally responsible and work with the other council members in a collaborative way to try and help guide this city where we're not raising taxes constantly, I think is a very valuable component of what you're trying to do. It looks like we're starting to run a little bit low on time. So, you got a couple more minutes here, Greg. What's the last thing you want to leave with the folks that are watching tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I think the key thing is just to kind of reiterate what I started with, right? The objective is to lower property taxes. And if we are successful, and that's where I think I can come into play, in the role of really driving fiscal responsibility and having candor and collaboration during city council discussions, we can drive some value there. I'm also someone that can work with City Hall to attract and stimulate small businesses, attract, court, and get big businesses in the City of Erie, which will create jobs and opportunities for folks. So if we do those things, we have an opportunity to lower property taxes. If we lower property taxes, real estate values will increase. The ever increasing financial burden on the hardworking Erie families and folks on a fixed income, that burden will decrease. We will increase disposable income for everyone because we're paying less in taxes. While doing that, if our property values are increasing, that's a great way for families to create wealth. And then at the end of the day, with lower taxes and a pro-business, pro-economy, we're going to attract people to the city area. We're going to grow this city. And so at the end of the day, it all starts with fiscal responsibility. Then we start finding a way to grow and create a catalyst in the economy, which creates jobs. And as we do those two things, then we have an opportunity to take a hard look at our tax structure and make responsible cuts, while at the same time modernizing our government. So in short, I think a vote for me. At the end of the day, you're going to have someone that understands how to work extensively with people. In my role currently, in my role in my corporate time, you spend so much of the day working with folks trying to find the best solution it may not be my solution, it may not be another individual solution, but it's the best solution. It's the most responsible solution. It's providing transparency for folks, and that's collaboration. So simply collaborating in an intelligent, experienced way will drive positive change for the city of Erie. Secondly, I don't have political ambitions. I'm doing this because this is, I think, what the community needs. We need something different than what we've been doing for 40 plus years. We've got so many great things happening in the city, but we've got to find a way to just put that additional push to get us over the finish line and get the city cranking. I think we're very close in that area. So I think a vote for me is simple. I would say that if option A is the status quo and option B is a vote for me, I think it's up to you. So option A, do you want more government, or B, do you want less government? Do you want to see the Erie population continue to decline, or do you want to see the population grow? Do you want less business and economic growth or more business and economic growth? Do you want to have less disposable income, less money in your pocket, or do you want to have more money in your pocket? Do you want to continue to deal with ever increasing taxes, or do you want to see taxes decrease? Do you want to continue to have higher crime, or do you want to have lower crime? Do you want to have less opportunities in your life and also for your family? Or do you want to see more opportunities for yourself and also for your family? So if you like the latter, option B, I think the vote's simple. Vote for me all day long on November 2nd. Lastly, if you'd like to reach out or connect with me, please feel free to give me a call, 814-218-0563. Again, 814-218-0563. You can also email me, info@votegregbrown.com. Again, info@votegregbrown.com. And if you'd like to check out my website, you can also go to votegregbrown.com. Again, truly appreciate the time today. Senator?
Yeah, Greg, I have to tell you, I think this is one of the most exciting city council candidates that I've ever personally talked to. I really hope that you can pull this off. I know it's a tough district within the city to run as a Republican, but honestly, folks, I think it's time to give some new thinking a shot in the city of Erie. I totally support Greg Brown, and I hope that you will too. And I'm really looking forward to this fall when we can get some new blood on city councils. Thank you, and have a great day.